Great. So, such a wonderful crowd and such high energy after so much discussion on various topics. But I was asking somebody like, would you attending this session? He said yes. I said why? Because I have been making money for my organization. How about I make money by my investment, and how do I make my money grow? Oh, this is very interesting. So this is about that. So I had sales, marketing, and acquisition journey at Angel One. Disclaimer: this is not Angel One views. This is my personal view. On request of my dear friend Shiny, I thought I will do this session. No commercial purpose to me or to my organization, but I mean could be helpful to all the friends and fellow colleagues. So, stock market, I think that's the mistake around investment. I'll talk about that. Very simple concepts. Take some time, if you do not really see it in a structured fashion or hear from someone you can trust or who is not selling you anything specifically. Investment, very much required. Making your money work as hard as you do. That's a very important part, and that's what investment is all about in my view. And then DIY tools. How do I do it on your own? And let me tell you, I mean, the more sophisticated the product is, I mean, there are more angles to it. I mean, the best investment products are available in retail. And let me tell you, you can manage it on your own. If you can manage your emotions and if you go with certain structured approach. So we'll talk about that. And of course, hashtag invest right. You can put it on Twitter or social media. I mean, that's the hashtag which iMedia team proposed. Now, before I start, I mean, how can I forget ChatGPT? So I asked ChatGPT, tell me a 4-line poem on stock market. So that's what the ChatGPT suggested. In the land of stocks and market hype, where bulls and bears battle and grind, numbers dance like a wild spree, and that's the problem actually to all of us. Investing a roller coaster V, and that's so true, and trust ChatGPT to get it right for you. The presentation structure is very important. I think the structure is more important than the content I'm going to be saying next. So I'll spend good 2 minutes on it, because if you understand the structure well, you will do a lot of research on your own later. I mean, my idea is just to make it a thought starter and bring certain things to you, kind of knowledge which you can pursue later. So understanding different asset classes and why equity. Now, asset classes are important. This is what you need to think about. That investment is not about gold, not about land, not about real estate, not about cryptocurrency, not about equity. There are different asset classes. This is something that all of us need to appreciate and spend time to understand. The other bit is that all asset classes behave very, very differently. The way to look at an asset class is not at the point when you want to acquire one. It is about having a longitudinal view, long-term view. And that's where diversification and asset allocation comes in. And this is again why equity is important. I will talk about that. The most important bit is a portfolio construction and risk tolerance. Now this is not very complicated honestly, but it's important for you to understand what is your risk tolerance, where do you fall, and what kind of portfolio you can build. And then again we'll talk about choosing winning stocks. Then introduction to DIY investment tool. Now this is a very important piece, and I'll spend some time on it because I want to give the power in your hands. The power should be in your hand, and there are enough and more tools available, which can really help you without spending too much time. And the last bit is in terms of cryptocurrencies. Now I have been covering this topic for almost, this is the third time I'm covering this topic, and so I thought cryptocurrency was hot. A lot of questions were there, Shiny and Just One requested me to include that, and I have included it this time also. And whatever data you see are latest data. I mean, as latest as last month. So this is the broad structure, and as I said, this is just a thought starter. This is how you should be thinking about your investment portfolio, etc. Okay, let's dive right into it. Understanding different asset classes and why equities. Now this is very interesting data. This is the latest data. Let's spend some time on it. Very simple looking graph. But what it is telling you that for last 20 years, this is not, this is a lifetime in a way. FD has given 6.5% return, the safest one. Gold has given 8.8% return. Real estate has given 10.2% return, and equity has given 15.5% return. Very simple looking number. You'll say, okay, I'm okay, I'll not take risk. 6.5 is good for me, or say 10.2 is good for me. And all of these are basis index. For all the asset classes, there are various indexes. So very, very interesting looking number, yet equity is on the highest. And this is 20 years data. Okay, many wars have happened. Unfortunately, no world war. If I show you American data, I could show you equity market performance after World War I and II also. But unfortunately, our equity market is not so old. So this is how it looks in terms of percentage return. Yeah, Kegel, yeah. Now this is interesting. Regarding questions, there will be an interactive session towards the end. I request you write your questions on a piece of paper along with your name and give it here, to the organizers, and I will be answering each question. Mostly, I see a lot of duplication in questions, so I will reserve it till the end. And after this session also, I'm available, so you guys can interact with me. So look at this. This is how it looks. So FD 6.5. If I look at 10 index, it will only become 35 after 20 years. Gold will become 54. Real estate will become 70. But look at this staggering number, 177. This is the power of compounding. This is the long-term investment. This is how wealth, generational wealth are created. Very simple point, but we take lifetime to understand this. And then get to know it at very, very later stage of our life, when other priorities take over. What is also critical, having said that, the next question comes in is that, but market is very volatile. So look at this 20 years data again. Look at the way the volatility of the market. Very, very volatile, And this is how. So let's assume that you entered the market somewhere here in July 09. And let's assume you exited the market here somewhere in, say, July 11. Okay, if I'm getting it right. Imagine the return, 20, 30, 50% return. माला माल रातों रात होना, इसको बोलते हैं, ठीक है? But let's assume you entered the market here and then exited the market here in July 11. The 10, 30, 40% loss. रातों रात कंगाल होना इसको बोलते हैं, ठीक है? So this is how volatility makes you look at things, and our emotions take better of us, and that's what behavioral finance and all the popular books talk about. But what is interesting is this. If you look at July 03 and July 23 data, despite all the volatility, returns are volatile in the short term with probability of losing money. Over a longer term horizon, or equities give great returns and help in wealth creation. This is how it is. CAGR to become 18x in the last 20 years. The basis Sensex has been delivered 15.5% return. So this is how it goes. So this is how equity function. There are different asset classes. Let me summarize the slides till now. And there is definitely volatility, but if you stay invested, even on simple thing like index investing, not looking for winning stock, and I will come to winning stock also later. But even if you do simple index investing, this is the kind of return you would have got. 15.5% CAGR over 20 years. This is what is possible. Now, this is also interesting. Some people say that, should I buy on the day market is low? Should I buy when the market is high? When do I buy? There is answer to that also. There is no rocket science there also. If you stay invested in all days for 20 years, you would have got 15.5% return. Let's assume you would have missed best 10 days of the market. When the bulls were really in control, then your return would have been 11%. And if you have missed best 15 days, you return at 9.4%. And that's why all commonsensical answer to stock market is stay long, stay invested. Because this is what happens. Even Warren Buffett cannot predict which are the best 10 days or which are the best 15 days. Nobody can predict. That's a fact. Not even ChatGPT or any other AI that you come out later. There are so many variables, so many things happening in the world, right? But the answer is, if you stay invested all days, this is where you can get to. And this slide was not last time. I got it included this time. This is very interesting, and this I am doing personally also. That don't look at market only in price appreciation of stocks. You can also look at dividend income. In fact, this is my big thing, personal thing. Look at this, all this company, Hero MotoCorp, Maruti Suzuki, ONGC, Colgate Palmolive. Total shareholder return for past 5-year performance has been this much. If I just look at price return, so Hero MotoCorp, if you look at, if you have stayed invested in, Hero MotoCorp for 5 years, it is a minus 13% return. But dividend return is 16%, so your overall return is 3%. And now Hero MotoCorp has got, you know what, Harley Davidson model. Will it change the fortune? We don't know. But this is what happens when you take into account dividend return. Look at ONGC, for example. Total price return minus 3%, dividend return 36%, 33%. I mean, even if you miss the price appreciation, so look at dividend. And that's an amazing income. That's liquidity. That's for your old age. You don't have to sell your stock portfolio. You can pass on to your generations, grandson, granddaughter, whatever, grandson. And still they can live their, or you can live their life with this dividend return. Okay, so this is personal point, and this also I wanted to communicate. So net, what we have concluded, there are different asset classes. Equity is very important, CAGR is important, long term is important, that's what we have seen so far. Now comes the question, if there are different asset classes and equity is important, how do I look at diversification and asset allocation? How do you take care of that? And again, I will talk about why equity is important there also. Now, your risk profile determines asset allocation. Now, don't tell me that I do bungee jumping, so I am very aggressive guy. No, that's not what we're looking for. Or I'm very sporty, I can swim with sharks. No, that's not what we're looking for. There are very simple set of questions, whichever bank you work with, whichever brokerage house you work with, they will ask you very simple questions, 5 to 10 questions. And basis which they will decide your risk tolerance. And that risk tolerance has implication in terms of fundamental role in investing. It's a function of age, returns, risk appetite, and there are standard risk profile, conservative, low risk tolerance, moderate, aggressive, and asset allocation across asset classes, not just this, many more. So it's very important to understand your risk profile. So one thing you should do, I think after this or whenever you get time, please understand your risk profile. Look at questionnaire that you have filled for your banks or brokerage houses, or there are questionnaire which are available freely on internet, and determine your risk tolerance in terms of what risk level you are. And let me tell you, this will change from kind of age to age. So maybe when Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala made a lot of money, and that's what Mr. Damani also agrees, that he used to bet big on small cap. Titan, which is a behemoth today, was a small cap 2 decades back. And Mr. Damani might invest on it and might not put too much money on it. Mr. Jhunjhunwala will put, late Jhunjhunwala, put almost big chunk of his personal net worth on that. And maybe after certain stage, people move into being conservative. So you need to choose at what life stage, and I see a lot of age bands in the room, So maybe youngers have advantage there. You can afford to be aggressive initially, and you can take bet on that, and I'll talk about it later. So this is important. Now look at this. The risk and return do not correspond in one-to-one fashion. In the sense, there could be low risk, but the return will be low, like bank FDs, government bonds, liquid assets, but they are also important in the portfolio. They are important, and we will talk about that, why they are important. Then there are medium return and medium risk like large cap equity, real estate, gold. And let me tell you, large cap. Large cap is that if I look at listed companies in India, the top 100 companies, with the highest market caps are large caps. Then another 150 could be medium cap, and the rest of the companies are small caps. That's how the definition normally goes. And large cap companies are mostly stable, returns are there, and a lot of analysts and companies do a lot of research on them. So multiple informations are public about them. Then comes the return, risk is high, returns are high, like alternate assets, mid and small cap equity, and even cryptocurrency will come in. Okay, so you need to understand your risk profile. You need to understand that different asset classes have different profile in terms of risk and returns. Now this is just illustrative. This is not the percentage. You can have more, just to open up your mind. So take for example, if you are an aggressive risk profile, you can have 65 equity, 15 fixed income, 10 gold, 10 alternate asset, then equity mutual fund also you can have 25, 50, Similarly, moderate, you can see that the equity portion has gone down, then conservative equity portion has gone down further. But in all cases of wealth, equity is there. Even the richest man or the top 10 richest men on the planet do not have those monies in their bank accounts. I hope you understand that. That money is there in the form of a market cap, and that's how it is. And even Elon Musk has to do XYZ things to kind of realize some of his, personal wealth in certain way. So this is important, that depending on the risk profile, the way you are exposed to different asset classes, will be different. And in aggressive cases, equity will be higher, but in all cases, equity has to be there. Because you have seen how it gives a CAGR of 15.5% over a 20 years period. So equity component is most critical because high equity allocation in early and mid phase of life is critical to build wealth. Equity allocation can be done using mutual fund, diversified portfolio of 30 to about 50 stocks. So mutual funds are the safest way. When you start investing in the stock market, you can go with mutual funds. They are amazing fund houses. They are amazing fund schemes which have a lot of trackable data about them. You can do PMS. Some of you who would have like 50 lakhs or 1 CR, you want to give to a fund manager, that's also possible. It's a high concentrated portfolio with 15 to 20 high conviction idea. Then you can do direct equities, custom strategy for every individual. Then depending on your knowledge of the sector or whatever reading you do, and I will talk about some of it in the DIY tools, investors have traditionally preferred using PMS instead of direct equities. However, it is possible to build a direct equity portfolio of 15-20 high conviction ideas, and DIY tools have made it very easy to create direct equity portfolio, and I will talk about how that is done. So very clearly, equity component is most critical. Doesn't matter which risk profile you have. So let's focus on portfolio construction. So by now we have understood, what are equity, how's the portfolio constructed, what percentage you should keep of different asset classes. So portfolio construction around risk tolerance and choosing winning stocks. And there is no secret there. So a lot of hard work. So look at this. As I was telling you, large cap and mid and small. If I just focus on direct equities. Now, if you can see, we started from very, very top view. We have been like zooming in, and now we are focused on direct equity. Even the aggressive people will have 40% in the large, and mid and small will be 60, because the mid and small will be very risky stocks. Moderate will have 60-40, 60 in large, 40 in mid and small, and conservative will have 80% large because they are more predictable. Returns won't be high, but they'll not be losing capital. And let me tell you, losing capital matters, and particularly to people who have made wealth of certain size. After that, preservation is far more important for them, and they are willing to bet only some percentage of it, and then 20% mid and small. So that's the portfolio for you. How do you construct the portfolio? Very simple process, not very complicated. So first is risk profiling. As I said, please go back to the questionnaire you have filled, what kind of risk profiling has come in, or go to internet, get some questionnaire and get your risk profiling done. Allocation across market cap, the large cap, small cap, mid cap. Allocation across sectors, all sectors go through up and down, like IT sector is down right now, some sectors are booming. And once the allocation is decided, the next step is to identify the stocks as per the allocation. The last bit is stock selection. So if you are clear about these steps of portfolio construction, we will move to stock selection bit, and then that makes a portfolio. So what are the qualitative parameters for selecting winning stocks? So first thing, important thing is strong brand and leadership positioning. This is very, very important. That's why people talk about going with the market leaders in a particular sector. So it aids market share gains and enables premium pricing, because winners have a higher chances of winning later also. More strong entry barriers, difficult for new players to enter the business. Now that's very, very important. Possibly why Google is winning, possibly why Reliance will have a lot of advantages in multiple sectors they operate, or why Asian Paints is still staying strong despite a lot of new entrants doing huge capex in those sectors. Quality management. some of you are part of management for your respective organizations, and you know the kind of decisions you take, the way you steer your organization in the midst of risks and challenges. And if you have quality management who have amazing track record, that means world of a difference. And that's why when there's a change of CEO in certain organization, stocks market respond to that. And non-cyclical business. Strong performance even during economic down cycles. Now, these are very, very important because certain commodity-led businesses and certain other businesses behave very, very widely, depending on the up or down cycle. So, as a thumb rule, if broadly, if you, and these are not rocket science, you don't need a great analyst for that. You can have high conviction in certain sectors, certain stocks by just using these 4 things. So be it strong brand and leadership positioning, more strong entry barriers, quality management, and non-cyclical businesses, just focusing on that. Now, what are the quantitative parameters? Some people call it fundamental and technical analysis. I'm not using the jargons, but what you just saw was a fundamental analysis. What I'm telling here next could be a technical analysis. And there are a lot of research reports available in the market which you can study and make conclusions. So strong return on capital employed, ROE of 15% plus, so that's a possible thing, not a rocket science. Debt to equity less than 0.5x, so that data is already available. Somebody has done the hard work of calculating, you can look at that. Now, let me tell you why this is important. Debt to equity less than 0.5x. Because debt needs to be serviced. There could be a down cycle, there could be unforeseen circumstances when the business will not have enough cash flow. And if they do not have enough cash flow, they will not be able to service their debt. And that may result into certain actions, which will affect, the equity performance. Like promoters, sometimes they pledge their equity with financial institutions and they have to, liquidate their holdings. That will impact the share prices. So that's why it's important to look at this ratio. Strong cash conversion and consistent dividend payout. Now, I will not go into very complicated formula of how stock prices are calculated, but you will be surprised that there are pricing formulas also, valuation formulas also. So, dividend payout is a very important component in deciding a stock price. Stable improving operating margin across cycles. All of you are in business, you understand the importance of operating margin, and if a company can keep on improving operating margin by increasing their top line, the bottom line is actually getting healthier. Consistent top line, bottom line growth of 10% plus, now that's quality of the business. And consistent growth in market share. Now market share is very, very important. I mean, if a company is not being aggressive enough, while they are making good top line, bottom line, but the market itself is large. Quantitative parameters which are available in research reports, in screeners, I'll talk about what screeners are there. These are available in popular business magazines, newspapers, so you can always look at that. Now this is interesting, this is stock selection. Actually, I used Asian Paints when I presented this 1 or 2 years back, and I kept Asian Paints even now. The performance of Asian Paint is impacted, the stock price is impacted. Why? Because stock price is a reflection of the future prospect. And let me tell you, there are a couple of very, very strong players have entered the sector in which Asian Paints operate with large capex committed. And that's why stock price may not be actually performing so well. But let me tell you, this is the performance of these 3 companies in the last 10 years. Look at sales growth. CAGR of 12.6, Pidilite, CAGR of 12.4, look at Titan, CAGR of 14.9. This is CAGR, guys, this is very, very powerful number. Net profit 14.2, 11.8, 16.3. Look at some of the companies which are actually doing better have higher CAGR for net profit as compared to their top line. And that's where the operating margins, economy of scale are coming in the picture. Very simple set of data, nothing complicated, but it tells you amazing story about the companies you're looking for. And look at this is interesting. So if I look at the Sensex performance, and this is a performance of 10 years of Sensex, look at the kind of growth it has given, and look at the performance of Pidilite, Titan and Asian Paints. And Asian Paints, this is the blue line, maybe July 22, Last year only a lot of announcement happened and may not have gone down, but then again they're picking up. But look at a lot of other companies, how they're performing, like be it Titan, be it Pidilite, and look at Titan, like it is breaking out in a big way. And you saw how their CAGR for sales and the CAGR for net profits are doing so good. And look at now again the power of compounding. A Sensex of 10 value would have given 33, say for 10 years period. For Asian Paint 71, for Pidilite 99, and Titan 131. And that's why people still talk about large cap. They say that HDFC Bank every 4 years can create another HDFC Bank. Or people keep asking which is the next HDFC Bank. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. These are my personal opinion on things. Okay. So a lot of these, stocks have some correlation to their market performance, and they can easily be judged. You guys are very intelligent in the room. Like you're doing so much complex things for your job. You can do this for your own stuff. That's what I'm saying. This is all about DIY tools. And this is where the problem arises. When you're in low ROE and cyclical stocks. Like look at Jindal Steel and Power. I mean, look at how they have gone up majorly in the initial period, and since then they've been going down because they are cyclical. You saw all the other companies going up, in the 10-year period, and look at Jindal Steel and Power. Just an example. A lot of other companies are there like this. But the fact is that despite this kind of sales CAGR and net profit CAGR is very, very marginal, but there could be breakout years. So you can make money trading in these stocks, but may not be investing. So now we totally understand about portfolio construction, winning stocks, fundamental and technical analysis. Let's look at DIY investment tool. And I will talk about tools, and I will talk about ARQ, which is the Angel One proprietary tool. And you guys have heard about Smallcase, which is not our brand or company, but still I thought it would be useful for you. So look at this. I mean, you do read ET, you do read Money Control, Business Standard. These are all available to you. A lot of information is possible. You can make a watch list. You can actually go through the informations which are available, and you can find it handy to track the sectors or the companies that you're focused on. Stock screener and research tool could be something new for you, but many of these are easily available at a very, very low subscription. They do the hard job of getting all the financial information, company presentation, analyst reports, recommended price at a single place. So you can follow them as well. So these are very, very interesting DIY tools which are available. But sometimes stock selection in portfolio construction is time consuming. No two ways about it. When you are a starter, like anything you begin with, it looks very daunting initially, but it becomes easier over time, right? So there are tools like ARQ and Smallcase. So let's talk about ARQ, which is a proprietary tool of Angel One, and we are playing on it. We'll make it big later. But ARQ is very, very powerful tool. No emotional bias. It's highly scalable, real-time, massive data crunching, and it's a digital convenience at your fingertips. This is how the interface looks like right now. It's a long only equity portfolio. So I mean, it's not about buying, selling often. It's long only equity portfolio. It's the algorithm-driven stock only portfolio offered to Angel One's customers. A smart algorithm that knows how to beat the stock market has provided stellar returns. How can client access ARQ Prime? It is on the Angel One app. It's also there on the Smallcase platform. ARQ is available. It is delivered as an advisory. It advises you to build a diversified long-term portfolio of 15 stocks. So we go for concentrated bet. It keeps updating you when to buy and sell stocks, and from the portfolio. Look at the data point. This data is from, and this is, post-COVID data also. So it has already, taken into account 1 year frenzy post-COVID and the last 1.5 years of. But even then, look at BSE 100 return, BSE 500 return, Nifty Midcap 100 return, and look at ARQ Prime return of 231%. So benchmark beating return. So it's possible that even a passive tool like ARQ, and it's a free service, you don't have to pay anything extra. It has beaten all MF categories also, large cap, ELSS, mid cap, multi cap, small cap, and this is ARK Prime written for you. So such passive tools can also take away a lot of drudgery from the process for you and make things simpler. Let's look at small case. What are small cases? A small case is a basket of stocks that reflect an idea. Small cases are portfolios of stocks or ETFs weighted intelligently to track a theme, strategy or objective. Take for example, GST came into existence almost, I think it's been 4 or 5 years now. So if you have an idea that maybe companies which will be the beneficiary of GST as a theme, you could have just gone to a small case and chosen the theme. And you would have automatically taken all possible sectors and stocks which will become beneficiary because GST is being charged by the government. So making themes can be as easy as that. Or choosing a theme can be as easy as that. Small case helps build your diversified long-term portfolio of stocks and ETFs. Simple to understand. Small case are modern investing products based on simple ideas you can understand. Managed by professionals, so there are fund managers behind those. And they are designed for use. Small cases are fully customizable. Edit your small case constitutes anytime or create your own small case. You can do all of that. This is interesting. Don't go for the technical stuff. I'm just showing you the width of possible themes through a small case. So you can go for smart beta. Smart beta, which is kind of a low risk, smart beta, quality smart beta, you can go for such themes. You can go for growth investing, and there are like technical terms, you don't have to bother about it, like those themes are available in the market. Long term, you can go for rising rural demand. If you really believe that tier 2, tier 3 is doing so well for your company or for your sector, it might be doing well for other sectors as well. Can you choose this as a theme in small case and invest? That's also possible. Dividend and income, I showed you how dividend is the open secret of stock market that not many people consider, but you can actually go for a theme which is around dividend and income. You can go for ETF equity, and ETF is big. I'll tell you, almost 35-40% in US investment are passive investment. In our country, it will be like in single digit. And it can use other also in the form of an index, but this works across portfolios. Based again on the risk profile, defined asset allocation identified, multiple small cases across ETF and equity can be used to build a portfolio. The investor will, however, need to do his research to identify the small cases needed among the multiple small cases available across similar needs, which is about themes. The themes where you have a conviction. That's the only tough job you have to do. And how tough is to have your own conviction known to you, possibly, So not just in your back of head. 2 years back, I thought about this, dude, I lost it. So, so what's the point? So, so if you have a conviction now, go to small case, put some small amount and see how it progresses from there. Small case additionally offers a more simplified and convenient way to rebalance portfolios. See, rebalancing portfolio is important. Like for example, gold had a huge, kind of upside during COVID times. So if you book profit and put your money in equity at that time, this is called rebalancing. So the rebalancing also happens in small cases. Add additional capital through SIP. So this is also easy SIP. We all of us understand. Lump sum over stocks, which would help the investor manage his overall portfolio. So this is how you can use small case also, another DIY tool available to you. So by now we have done the basics on investment, stock market, DIY tools. The interesting thing, cryptocurrency, which was like 2 years back, was very hot. Not so hot now, but you'll understand, it's not bad either. You can still bet on it. So just for the kind of clarity sake, cryptocurrencies are digital currencies and classified as alternate assets. That's how we call it. So you can keep some percentage of it. Cryptocurrencies are not issued by government but are mined by individuals. Only a limited number can be mined for most cryptocurrencies, which limits supply and is a key driver of value. Cryptocurrency trading is legal in most of the major countries in the world, including the US, Canada and EU, but there are tax implications. Given phenomenal increase in value of cryptocurrencies, they have become one of favorite investment avenue for investors. Let's look at this data. This is very interesting. So this is the data of 5 years data. I am not showing the volatility of cryptocurrency. You will go mad seeing that. But look at the performance. Equity in last 5 years, 12.5%, Ethereum 32.8%, and Bitcoin 36.8%. It's still better than equity, but you will not bet your house on this. So you will not sell your house and put all the money in crypto. If you have done it, I mean, you will not be here. So this is how it is. So cryptocurrencies have given higher returns than equities over the past 5 years. However, they are more volatile as compared to equities. There are other risks associated with cryptocurrencies which needs to be accounted for, like storing security and liquidity related issues. You would have read the news about people's account, Bitcoin getting stolen, lost, forgetting the password and all of that. Regulatory issues are there, and therefore investors should allocate only a small part of their portfolio to cryptocurrencies given the risk. So if you are conservative, zero allocation. Please have a peaceful night, enjoy your life, don't invest in cryptocurrencies. If you are moderate, maybe 1 to 3% of your portfolio. If you are overly aggressive, maybe 3 to 5% of your portfolio. So again, cryptocurrency is just an asset class. It's not your golden ticket to heaven. Okay, neither it's a lottery ticket. Again, like I tell everybody, stocks are not a lottery ticket. They are part of a business, and as the business grows, you will get the benefit out of it. That's what stocks are. So cryptocurrencies, again, it's not your golden ticket. So don't see it like that. But yes, you can see in 5 years, it has given certain returns. If you have your strong hearted, you can actually make some portfolio still as a cryptocurrency. Not a recommendation, it's for you to choose. So that's it from my side, and I'm open to questions now.
Prabhakar, thank you very, very much. We have any quick questions?